Hello, this is Sean from Time and Talk. Today's video going to be about Rolex. So, Rolex. I was scrolling through, browsing. I think it was on Watchfinder, and I was looking at Rolex watches and window shopping, if you like, and I came across this picture. I just thought it really does show the craziness of Rolex prices. I know this is not a new topic, by the way. So 30,000 for a bog standard OP because it's got a nicely coloured dial. I'm not sure if that one, I'm colourblind. Is it the Tiffany blue? But I remember when these came out. I think they came out last year at Baselworld, and I looked at the yellow one and I thought, oh, that's quite an interesting watch, quite funky. It's a statement for a Rolex, and it's not luxury, it's more kind of fun. And I thought, yeah, I would consider that watch. And now looking at the prices of them, I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments. Is it just a case of, because they're popular and because people know that they're going to rise in value, people buy them? Because when I think of a Rolex, particularly a £30,000 Rolex, I think people want that as a status symbol. And for me, those OPs are not status symbols. They're kind of interesting watches, and I do like them. But I just don't get it. I don't get why a watch like that would cost 30,000. If anyone could enlighten me, that would be fantastic. And I guess the question is, in terms of this pricing, and you may have seen, I only saw it for the first time recently, but you may have seen this before. When you go past an AD and in the window it says for exhibition only, in other words, you cannot buy these watches. Is there any point in still, loving Rolex and wanting and aspiring to buy a Rolex? You tell me what you think in the comments. I still think yes. I still think Rolex is my favorite brand of watches. It's not a very interesting and avant-garde choice, if you like, but I think there's a lot of reasons why they make fantastic watches. I'm wearing the Explorer myself. And I thought that would make an interesting topic for the second part of the video, which is, why do people still love Rolex? Why do people still buy them? So, obviously, first of all, the most obvious thing is because it's a safe bet. So when you buy a Rolex, you know that watch is going to keep its value, that in a few years' time, it might even be worth more than you paid for it. And that if you do ever get tired of it, you can pretty much sell it for what you paid for it. And that's not the case with other brands, so it makes it more of a hard decision if you're thinking about buying one. So, for example, Cartier or Omega or Grand Seiko or whatever, it's like a car. As soon as you've bought one, you take a hit on that and it depreciates, whereas Rolexes are not really like that. If, for example, if you bought one of those OPs that I mentioned before at retail, then you can sell it for 5 times the price that you paid for it. Another thing about Rolex that people love is the fact that they are timeless watches. So things like the Explorer or the LP or the Datejust, they've pretty much look the same from the time that they've created, and you can wear them at any age. I don't know if it's distasteful to wear certain Rolexes when you're really, really young because it might suggest certain things, but the timeless watches that fit any style really and any age. Another really, really obvious thing is the status symbol thing. So everybody knows Rolex. If you ask the person on the street, name a luxury watch brand, they will say Rolex first and foremost, even above higher end brands. The average Joe might not know Grand Seiko or might not know some of the other brands, but they will definitely know Rolex. And I think we see them all the time on the risks of celebrities and the risks of important and powerful people and historical figures as well. And that kind of elevates the brand and in terms of its status symbol. And again, I think in terms of the history, so Rolex is a relatively new company, so it was founded in 1905. But in terms of the history in the 20th century, they punch way above their weight in terms of that. So, Martin Luther King wore a Rolex, Che Guevara wore a Rolex, all of these important and interesting people who have the brand on their wrist. And another thing that we can't ignore in terms of why people still buy Rolex is that they are great watches. They're high quality, they're accurate. They, I wear mine all of the time, and it still gives me pleasure when I'm wearing it. It sounds weird when I say it like that. And I still enjoy wearing it, and it still looks really good to me, even though I don't treat it amazingly well, so it doesn't look like a new watch, if you like. They're really reliable. You only have to get a Rolex, particularly a newer Rolex, serviced every 10 years, which is fantastic. So, in terms of that, I guess, if you could tell me in the comments what you think, is it, again, I know this is not a new topic necessarily, but is it the case that Rolex is boring now? The idea of the prices going up and things like that, they're just not interesting enough anymore, and it might be better to perhaps go for another brand, so Grand Seiko, Cartier, whatever, or do you think the watches are still worth it and you would still buy one and you still love them? If you like the video, thanks very much, and thanks very much for watching, and please subscribe if you do like the channel. Thank you.